Hey brownies, welcome back to part 2 of my rat story. And welcome to all the new subscribers. If you're new to the channel, make sure you go watch part 1 first so this story actually makes sense. Alright, let's get into it. The smoke had completely filled the house. Me and my mom ran into a room and shut the door behind us so we wouldn't choke while waiting for the smoke to clear out. And of course, while all this was happening, my mom was giving me the lecture of a lifetime because I didn't listen to her. Then suddenly, we started hearing my brothers yelling and screaming outside the room. A few seconds later, my brother burst through the door. Before he could even say a word, I saw black ashes flying through the air right in front of my face, and a thick cloud of smoke came rushing into the room behind him. We all ran out. The entire living room was covered in smoke. Then we rushed into the kitchen and saw that the stove was literally on fire from the back. My other brother was already there trying to put it out before it spread any further. He kept filling a pot with water and threw it at the flame, but nothing was working. And then things got even worse. When he went to turn on the water, there wasn't any. The water was completely off because nobody had turned on the motor downstairs. Immediately, he opened the gas cabinet, secured the gas cylinder, picked it up, and dragged it outside. Meanwhile, I ran into the bathroom hoping there might be a water there. Nothing. The fire kept growing and growing and growing. Then at the very last second, one of my brothers remembered there were water inside the cooler sitting in the living room. Without even thinking, he grabbed the entire water container and dumped it onto the fire. Thankfully, the fire finally went out. After everything was over, the kitchen looked absolutely miserable. The wall behind the stove was completely black from the flames. The floor was flooded. And there I was, cleaning everything while blaming that stupid rat for every second of it. I was literally threatening him out loud. If I ever see him again, he's getting the beating of his life. The problem was, every time this rat caused a disaster, it was like he knew. He disappeared for weeks afterward, until you'd convince yourself he'd finally left for good. Then suddenly, boom, he'd showed up again. I remember one time I was asleep. Around 3 a.m., I randomly woke up. I looked toward the kitchen from my room, and there he was, walking around carrying a piece of bread in his mouth like he owned the place. We kept trying to catch him. Nothing worked. By then, he had become a professional criminal. He could smell traps from a mile away and wouldn't go anywhere near them. So we decided to try a different strategy. We agreed not to leave any food anywhere inside the house, not even trash. We'd take the garbage outside immediately every single time. The plan was simple: starve him out. Eventually, he'd get hungry enough to leave his hiding spot. Day 1, he came out. No food. Day 2, he went in a full house inspection. No food. Day 3, same thing. You know what this little maniac did? He crawled into the cabinet under the sink and chewed through the drainage pipe. Suddenly, every time my mom used the sink, the kitchen floor flooded. So we'd fix it. Then we'd stop leaving food out. And after a few days, he'd chew through it again and flood the kitchen again. And if he ever managed to find food, he'd steal a huge amount, hide it somewhere in his little rat bunker, disappear for days, then come back late at night for more. After a while, we stopped noticing him altogether. Months passed. We honestly forgot he even existed. Until last Ramadan. It was a completely normal day. I was sitting in my room learning animation. That day it was just me, my mom, and one of my brothers at home. I finished working on my computer and thought to myself, you know what? Since I'm free, I may as well prepare sahur now because it was Ramadan and we'd be fasting the next day. So I went to the kitchen and I decided to make fried chicken. I prepared the seasoning, cut up the chicken, washed it, marinated it. Everything was ready. The only thing left was waiting for the seasoning to dry a little before frying. So I took the tray of chicken into the living room because the airflow was better there. I placed it on the table in the middle of the room, turned off the lights, went back to my room, and continued working. 2 hours later, I started getting sleepy, so I thought, let me just finish the sahur now, fry the chicken, and then take a nap. I walked into the living room, turned on the lights, reached for the tray, and then I saw it. Not one piece missing, not 2, not 3, 4. 4 pieces of chicken was gone. I immediately checked the kitchen. Nobody there. No smell, no hot oil, nothing. I checked on my mom, asleep. Checked on my brother, also asleep. I went back to my room and sat there thinking, where did they go? Wait, was it the rat? I walked back, looked closely. There was oil on the table, seasoning smeared everywhere. Then I looked down. There were drops of oil on the floor. So I started following the trail and following it until it stopped outside my brother's bathroom, the future crime scene. Now let me explain the layout. The entrance didn't have a door. There was an empty space between the hallway and the bathroom. My mom had stacked 2 large barrels there, and apparently the rat had decided the behind the bottom barrel would be his personal food storage unit. Anyway, I got there, leaned my head around the barrel, and saw something moving. Then I spotted my stolen chicken pieces hidden back there. And honestly, the thing that annoyed me most wasn't even the stealing. 1 piece alone would have been enough for me. Meanwhile, this tiny little rat stole 4 pieces. 4? And that was our sahur. I was exhausted, sleepy. I'd spent time preparing it, and it was already late. Standing there, every painful memory we had with this rat starting replaying in my head. The fire, the gas leak, the flooded kitchen, everything. And that's when I decided, he will suffer. I walked straight to my mom and woke her up. Mom? She opened her eye. What happened? He ate our sahur. Come with me. I grabbed a long wooden plank, maybe 1 or 2 meters long. I handed it to my mom and said, stand at the entrance, block the opening. Do not let him escape no matter what happened. Then I grabbed a broom, removed the handle, walked into the hallway. The rat and I were now trapped inside together. My mom stood outside holding the wooden plank exactly what I told her. I started poking underneath the barrel with the broom handle. He climbed higher. I moved the stick. He climbed more. Then suddenly, I hit him hard. He fell, started running, jumping out of his hiding spot. You're not going anywhere today. He started running left and right trying to escape. My mom held the plank exactly what I told her. And eventually, he ended up right in my hand. Next time, do not eat my sahur, you filthy little rat. My mom was standing there, staring at me in a complete shock. But at the same time, she was happy, because after all these months, we had finally done it. Not just the last rat, the last enemy that had been living in our house for over a year. We got rid of him, took him outside, and that was the end of it. That night, we ate raw rice for sahur instead. But honestly, we didn't even care, because of the first time in over a year, we knew we could finally sleep peacefully. And for the neighbor's house, the one that started all of this, the source of every rat in the neighborhood, they eventually demolished it and moved out. And now it's up for sale. And that was the last time I ever saw a rat. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And tell me your craziest rat story in the comment. I read every single one. And I'll see you guys in the next video.